In this lesson, we're going to look at several things. Our main focus here is a choke we call the head arm choke. Really, it's just a triangle, but the triangle, instead of being done with the legs, the triangle is now executed with our arms. So another way we could describe it as an arm triangle. But before we do that, we need to talk about the position, because this is our chance to talk about headlock control, as opposed to an uneducated way to do a basic headlock. We've got very specific ways that we set up a headlock control, and there's lots of attacks from headlock control. All right, first of all, what I want here is when David's pushing at my hip, my left hand's going to come under his arm on the ground. Once we're there, I shift my weight, it feels a bit strange, but off his body onto his arm. All of my weight there. He will turn to his right side in an attempt to get my back, but he can't get my back. As long as his arm is pinned there and my weight's focused, he's not getting my back. But in him trying to do that, that gives me his head. I then switch my base through to the front so far that my foot becomes an extension of his spine and my hand comes over and grabs the back of my hamstring. My other knee's up. His hand's up here. What I want to do is prevent this hand from going behind my back. If it's behind my back, he can start to roll me, and now I'm going on defense. So I need to make sure that I never let that hand go. So look at this knee way up there. I'm defending with this hand, not letting his hand go behind my back. If my leg's out wide, I've got a bigger space to defend, and he might get it past my defense here. So I like to keep this knee really high and not let that hand go anywhere. If his hand can't go anywhere, it will start doing something, pushing my head being the most common, and that's going to give me an opportunity to set up a choke. So let's look at the headlock control again. He's pushing my hip. One, under and staple his arm. Let him try to move, grab his head. Switch my base, grab my thigh, and close the gate to my back. And we call that headlock control. Some of the mistakes I can make, if I grab his head while my body weight is on his body, my shoulders are automatically going in the exact direction that he wants to have me go to effect an escape. That's why I want to take my weight off him. Now he turns to grab me. My shoulders aren't turning at all. None of my weight's on him, so he can't roll me over. And then I switch through, and now I'm setting up for my attack. This leg's out in front, so he can't bridge. He lifts his hip up, nothing happens. If my leg's back there, he lifts his hip up, I get rolling. So there's a lot in this. Leg in the front. The choke now. He starts pushing on my head. My hand's going to go on his elbow. I angle my elbow away from my body. As I switch my base and let go of my leg, I shove his arm back in that direction, across his neck, and put my head to the mat. Join my hands together in what we call Kata Gatame, or shoulder hold. From here now, it's very difficult for him to escape. I can relax and rest here. To apply the choke though, I want to roll him on his side. Pull my elbow up off the ground to take away any slack between my elbow and his neck on the far side. So I pull it up. And then swing my elbow under, getting my elbows as close as I can together, getting a grip here. And then my left hand either on my ear, my forehead, or his forehead, depending on how big he is. Small, medium, large. So if he's really bigger than you through the shoulders, you're going to need to put it there. If he's smaller than you, you'll put it up here. And then lean forward and squeeze. Now, but even when we're leaning forward and squeezing, I have this position. My hand's there, I have it all locked up. I want to walk my knees back till they're about 45 degrees. And then my chest goes through the hole that his neck is trying to occupy. So if we have our knees up too high, you won't want to lean forward because you'll feel off balance, so you'll just squeeze. So drop those knees back a bit and put your hip on the floor. Let's just quickly go through one more time all of those details, including the setup. I'm in side control, he's pushing at my hip. Dive it under, kill it to the mat. Wait, he turns, grab his head. Switch my base, foot out in front, grab my leg, close the gate to the back. He starts pushing at my head, elbow, angle my arm out, switch my base, head to the mat. Hold him there and get tight. When I'm ready to do the lock, up on his side, pull my elbow off the mat to take away space. Swing my other elbow under, hand up, knees back, lean forward and squeeze for the finish. And that's head arm choke. Just one way to put on an arm triangle, and we can do that from many, many different angles. But once again, we want you to focus on the details and the step-by-step process. That was not one or two moves. There was a lot of little steps. And we need to take every one of those if you want to ensure a high level of technical skill. So just work your way through it, be thorough. Once again, just like any other position or any other finish, that finish there is only as good as the position that you're doing it from. So if your headlock control is not good and not solid, that choke's going to be not good and not solid.
And you don't see, you see a lot in judo, you don't see it a lot in jiu-jitsu because people aren't very technical in how they go for it. So if they're just being non-technical and just trying to grab my head, very easy for me to shrug my head out and get the back. So a lot of fighters assume, well, that's a very risky technique, I'm not going to ever go and get it, because they may not be aware of the level of detail that John's getting of how to absolutely control the person, set it up, and once you set it up and get into it, it's a great hold. Yeah. And there's plenty of attacks that we'll be showing as well.
If I get the overhook on his arm before I grab his head, then I'm being rolled right away. That's why it's important to get the underhook and pin it, let him escape toward you, then grab his head and do it. So there's a difference. Just the difference between an overhook and an underhook can make all the difference in the world on whether this technique works for you or fails for you.